Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're going to give it about 2 minutes just to give time for everybody to get into the webinar today, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Give it about 1 more minute, and then we'll go ahead and get started, just giving time for everybody to get into the webinar. All right. Well, good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar, Mastering Efficiency, Unlock the Power of the BBB Response Portal. I am Jenny Tukeski. I am the Programming and Communications Manager here at the Better Business Bureau Midwest Plains. Just to let you all know, we are recording today's webinar, and within 24 hours, I will send a follow-up email to you with the link of the webinar for today, as well as the presentation information that Denise will be going over for you. So that way you always have it as a future reference then too, or you can show somebody else within your company. Also, if you have questions today during the presentation, please go ahead and put them in the chat or in the Q&A section, and we will answer questions throughout the time frame today. So with that, we are very fortunate to have our very own Vice President of Operations, Denise Gruney, with us today. Denise is a seasoned professional with nearly 14 years of experience at the Better Business Bureau. Throughout her tenure here, she has consistently displayed a remarkable ability for strategic leadership and operational excellence. Her responsibilities include overseeing vital operational departments such as the dispute resolution, vetting, data quality, first responders, and also trade practice. In today's webinar, she will demonstrate and discuss the functions of the BBB Response Portal, which is included in your accreditation. The portal is designed to make it easier to manage, view, and respond to both complaints and customer reviews. So with that, welcome, Denise, and it is all yours.
Thank you. And as Jenny said, please enter in any questions or if you need clarification on anything we're going to discuss today in the chat. I'll pause throughout the presentation to have Jenny take a look at the chat so we can get to your answers as soon as possible. So we're going to start today's webinar as an intro to the response portal, show you some of the complaint data that you're able to see within the portal, and then I will exit the actual presentation and get into the live portal itself, and then answer any additional questions that remain in the chat. So why is this important to answer all of your complaints and customer reviews? Research shows that integrity is the most important consideration for all age ranges as compared to every other sort of customer service or reputation. So as you can see here with the pie chart, it doesn't matter how old the demographic is. Honesty and integrity is always the key component as to what the number one consideration is when a consumer is determining who they want to do business with. That's also why it's important to make sure that you're responding with a good faith effort and in a timely manner when it comes to either your complaints and or your customer reviews. So as it stands right now, if you're a company that does not currently utilize the response portal, maybe you have received a complaint in the past, this is how the typical process goes. You're going to receive an email from resolution@bbb.org letting you know that you have a new complaint. Within that email is a link. It's going to send you to the response portal box, which looks like the screenshot you see here. The code is tailored to that specific complaint. And then you can log in to see the consumer details, what the complaint's about, the desired resolution, and then you can respond directly from that link into the portal. What's different is that Better Business Bureau, after speaking to many companies, wanted to find a way that we could help alleviate some of the stress when it comes to trying to organize and be more efficient at responding to complaints and reviews. So the solution was our response portal. Uh, the screenshot I just showed you requires a business to go into each individual email separately to view, manage, or respond to a complaint. Whereas our resolution portal allows you to go in and you can respond to multiple complaints, multiple customer reviews in a one-stop shop portal. So it's more efficient, in particular for companies that may have a higher complaint volume, or maybe you have two complaints that are from two separate consumers that you're working simultaneously. So it's easier to keep track of, and you'll see throughout this presentation how we have created a solution to help out businesses, in particular our small to medium-sized companies. So how to access the portal is easy. So a lot of you are probably familiar with the business login. You can find this going to bbb.org and in the upper right-hand corner, logging in with your login credentials. If you do not know your login credentials or you've never logged in before, give us a call or reach out to your accredited services representative. We would be more than happy to walk you through showing you what's available on the business login and ensuring that all the team members that need access have access. So once you're logged in, you're going to see a tile called the response portal. When you click that, this is going to open up a dashboard. So it's going to show if you have any open complaints, any complaints that require immediate attention, as well as customer reviews. So like I said, this is your one-stop shop for viewing, managing, and responding to all complaints and customer reviews. It's also color-coded. So if you see red, that means urgent. This is about to expire, meaning you don't want it to close out as unanswered or unresolved. Obviously, at this point, we're reaching out to you by phone as well to make sure that you're aware of the complaint. If it's green, that means that it just came in. So we always allow a business 10 calendar days when the complaint originally comes in. If we do not hear from you within those 10 calendar days, we will send out another email reminder. After that, since now we're talking 20 days, we will start calling you. So then you can also move into the next one, which is orange, which means it's not brand new, but this is a complaint that still needs your response. And then last, you will also have, it's not on this screen, but there is a screen too for incoming customer reviews. Currently, Better Business Bureau does not require an accredited business to respond to customer reviews. However, we would highly encourage you to do so. It just shows your potential consumers who go to your business profile that you're responsive, that you're engaged. It doesn't have to be a lengthy response either. If somebody's just thanking you for the professional work that you did, how happy they are with your services, something as simple as, it was a pleasure doing business with you. Thank you for the opportunity to serve you would be a great response to show that you're engaged and to create that additional marketplace interaction. Also within the portal, you can view statistics in reference to your complaint resolution rate, as well as categories. I can tell you our company, we have weekly and monthly KPI meetings. So if you're a business that does the same thing, this is a great thing to bring to your team. So that way you can identify any trends, but also see where there's room for improvement. So like, for example, if you see 77% of the complaints that are coming in are for billing or collection issues, that gives your team an opportunity to take a look at maybe your policies or procedures, things that you can identify to tweak to help try to reduce the number of complaints that are coming in overall. So here's also a template once you log in. One of the things that a lot of companies who, even if they've dabbled in the response portal, but maybe didn't know all the features available, were unaware of, is you could even search for previously filed complaints against your company. So maybe something comes up, maybe there's a consumer who's reached out to you, they're unhappy, the name sounds familiar. You're thinking, gosh, I feel like they filed a complaint on us at one point. I thought this was already resolved. You can actually go into your dashboard and search by name, or you can search by date range to find any closed complaints. So keep that in mind as an additional tool. We do have companies that reach out to us wanting some information on complaints that are no longer open, but maybe they need a reference for whatever reason. And give me 1 second here. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to hop over to a different screen here, so that way I can show you the live demo of how to navigate through the response portal. Now, while I'm doing that, Jenny, are there any questions we have so far that I can help answer?
What question I did have was in regards to the complaints and responding to those. Is that also within 10 calendar days, or is there a different number for that?
For complaints or customer
For
reviews?
the customer reviews.
For a customer review, you can respond at any time. Now, granted, what I will say is that with a customer review, we allow 5 business days for the company to respond before it gets posted publicly on the business profile. We work differently with our reviews than other platforms such as like Facebook or Google or Yelp, where you may file a customer review and it's immediately on that business's profile. Better Business Bureau believes there's always 2 sides or 2 situations to every story. So just like our complaints, we want to give the business the opportunity to respond. And for a couple reasons. It doesn't mean that if a complaint, the business may feel like it's invalid, maybe the customer's interpretation of the interaction is different from the business's. It's not a platform of, well, we'll take it down because, you were right or you were wrong. But it's more so we do not accept customer reviews from, say, former staff members, maybe who are filing a review about an employee-employer issue. And also sometimes we will get consumers who file a review against the wrong company, or the company comes back and says, I've never had an interaction with this person. I don't even know who they are. So there are times where maybe a competitor is filing fake negative reviews against companies. And Better Business Bureau wants to ensure that when reviews are filed, that they are truthful, that they are actual customers or had a interaction with the company. So if you want to expedite that process, meaning not wait the 5 business days for that to post on your business profile, if you leave a business response, it will post sooner. So that's one of the reasons why I would say, go ahead and leave that response, because we can get it public on your business profile quicker. But in relation to a response time, if maybe you were on vacation, it slipped through the inbox cracks, whatever the case may be, it's 12 days later, you can always log in to the response portal here, and I'll show you where to go and respond to that review. So now that we're here, this is the first login page when you log into your response portal. This is one of our test sites, so it looks a little bit different because as you saw in the screenshot, you had red, you had orange, you had green bars up at the top. This one here is just saying you have 1 complaint. There's no customer reviews that need attention. In addition, here on your screen, you can see how many reviews that you've received, what your current star rating is. You can also come over to your right rail here and just see a quick snapshot of, how many complaints you've had, how many complaints are currently opened, how many complaints are waiting for your response. So this is a good, just kind of quick snippet. If you're a company that has multiple brands, so maybe you're a franchise owner, 2 different franchise names, you run them completely independent, or perhaps you're a business owner who has more than 1 business under different names. You can actually use the drop down here and you can sort. So if you're a business that has multiple companies with different business profiles, you can use this too as an easier way to help you manage all the complaints and reviews, regardless of what company that you're trying to respond to. So moving on, you can click on your box here. So if this is a new complaint, now I'm clicking on it, I'm looking, I can see, who the consumer is, my company's information, the complaint details, if they submitted any sort of attachments, that could be a contract, it could be photos, any other documentation you can see here. And then as you continue to scroll down, any additional information will all be noted here. So you have on your left rail a couple things. So what is the next step? You'll notice throughout the complaint process, we're always telling you what the next step is. This one is waiting for clarification from the consumer. So if it's waiting for clarification from the consumer, as the business, there's no further action that's required from you at this time. There's also this light blue box here. So if you have additional information you would like to submit to the BBB only, meaning you don't want it to go to the consumer yet, or you have additional information you want us to know in reference to the complaint, this is the box you would want to use. And it says here that this will allow you to send a message directly to BBB with questions, updates, or concerns about the complaint. So a lot of companies, especially if it's their first time that they've ever received a complaint, they may not understand, the process or what to do. I will say our first time complaint letters are much longer than a normal complaint communication, because we don't want any company to feel like they're in the dark about what they need to do. But every now and then we'll still have a company that says, can somebody call me, or I don't understand, or what should I do to respond, whatever the case may be. Also, this is a good place to tell us if, this is not a customer of mine. I searched our database. I have no reference by name. Sometimes they'll provide an email address. Sometimes they'll provide a physical mailing address. They have to provide one or the other. Sometimes we have both. We give you, as the business, all the information that the consumer provided to us in reference to contact details. What I see more often is that maybe the customer interaction or what the company had in their database could be the husband's information, and then the wife's information, maybe she still uses her maiden name. So that's why it's not matching. But like I said, feel free to utilize this quick button here, and then you can go ahead and communicate directly with us. So if you're ready to respond, all you have to do is click it. Here's your information box where you're going to start typing in your response here. And then also too, if you have additional documentation you'd like to provide, maybe it's the contract, maybe it's screenshots of text messages, photos, whatever that is, you can add multiple files directly through that response. And then when you're done, you're ready to submit it to BBB, you click proceed, and that brings it into our queue where we can then start processing the complaint. If you do not use this box here, where you want the BBB or you're giving information to the BBB, the complaint is going to automatically be sent to the consumer once you respond. Since complaints are consumer driven, they're going to be the one that says, this answers all of my questions, my concerns, I'm good. So we send that directly to them to expedite the process in getting a resolution. You can also use some quick buttons here. This one, like I said, this is a fraudulent a complaint because it's more of a scam. So normally you can see the entire communication history here. And when you go back to your main screen, if you have multiple complaints, they're going to show up down here. And you can also see the status. So maybe you've already responded. You just want to log back in to see what's going on. If it says awaiting consumer response, there's no further action from you. When the complaint starts moving through the workflow, so say you responded, it's awaiting a consumer's response. Just like we do the business, we will allow the consumer 10 calendar days to respond. They can either accept your proposed resolution, they can reject and submit a rebuttal, Or sometimes we don't hear back from the consumer at all, which we assumed it's resolved if we do not hear back from them, which will close out. Regardless of one of the three options, if anything comes in from the consumer, or if the complaint closes out and we did not hear from the consumer, you will get another email notification. So for our high complaint volume companies, they live in this response portal dashboard. They're checking it every day because these are like national companies that tend to get, say, a complaint every day. So they don't want to rely on the email chains. But for a smaller company, maybe you only get 5, 10 complaints in a year. It might be easier for you to wait for that email you receive from us. And then that will prompt you to log into the portal where you can quickly see everything, respond, and manage everything in one place. So before I move on to reviews, Jenny, was there any questions?
Yes, so a question is, if a consumer gets work done and the job is finished, can the consumer's adult child file a complaint, or does it have to be the actual consumer who files it?
So we do have acceptance policy criteria. It's available online. It also walks you through as the consumer through our complaint intake form. So when it comes to say I had work done at my house, and my mom files a complaint, or vice versa. Maybe my mom had work done, I file a complaint. The only time we will take a complaint with like a child adult relationship would be if there's a power of attorney involved. And the reason for that is because we want whoever had the consumer interaction with the business to be the one filing the complaint. So, what we've seen in the past in some of these circumstances is that maybe the parents had work done, they're happy, but then the adult child feels as if their parents were taken advantage of because the price was too high, or they don't like the work. But the parents who had all of the marketplace interactions, they're happy. So that's the reasoning behind that. Similar to customer reviews, we want it to come from the person or the person, sometimes it's husband and wife, to be the one making those reviews or complaint submissions. Now, with that being said, if an adult child is helping out their parent, absolutely. I understand, say, my grandparents may not be the most tech savvy, but my parents could come over and help them, maybe file a complaint online if they don't want to submit a complaint via the handwritten form that we can also mail out as well.
Okay, one more question then too. How long does a consumer have to file a complaint? Meaning if the job was done 2 years ago and now someone wants to file a complaint, can they?
So once again, nothing is ever completely black and white in BBB land. So if work was done 2 years ago, the only thing that would supersede that would be if there's any warranties or guarantees. Our complaint acceptance criteria states that the work or the marketplace interaction has to be within the last 12 months. So if in reference to a complaint, so if I had my roof worked on 15 years ago and now it's leaking, and I look at my contract and the warranty is good for 20 years, we would accept that because you still have 5 years remaining in your contract. Now, if I had my roof worked on 15 years ago, it's now leaking, and my contract states that the warranty is good for 2 years, that would not be a complaint that the BBB would process. So that's also too why documentation is so important, especially as a business. Make sure if you're providing a product or service that may have a warranty or a guarantee, that you're giving the consumer their copy of the contract, they're signing off on it, you're signing off as the business, because essentially that contract is going to be the binding agreement between both parties. We're working a complaint right now where nothing was documented in writing. So as you can imagine, it turns into a he said, she said. And unfortunately, we're not here to determine who's lying and who's not. If we don't have any documentation, it makes it very hard for us to identify a resolution especially if both parties are not seeing eye to eye. Any other complaint questions so far?
That was it as of right now.
Okay, so let's talk about reviews. So similar reviews, you can see all of your pending reviews. You can also go in and see all your published reviews. So there was already a question in reference to what's the timeline in responding to a review. Since at this current time, review responses by an accredited business are not mandatory. If you decide later down the road, or say you get a new marketing person, whatever that may look like, you can come back at any time and leave a response on a review. So the best way to go about doing that would be to go through your reviews that are published, and you can actually click on the review ID. This is going to be where the reviewer submitted, and then you can leave your response right here. Once again, scroll down, submit your response, then we will publish that, and it'll go, on the business profile, it'll show the initial customer review, and then down below we'll have the business's response as well. So something else to keep in mind on reviews, if you've responded, this little checkbox over here will be clicked. So you can literally go through, especially if you have a lot of reviews, and you can see which ones you have responded to and which ones you haven't. So it expedites the process. Any questions on customer reviews? So let's talk a little bit about the statistics. You saw some screenshots earlier on those KPIs. So under your complaint tab and then complaint statistics, this is where you can pull that data. So you can do a couple things. You have summary statistics, you have complaints over time. So if you want to see, year over year comparisons on, year to date or by quarter, by month, all of that information is here. It's actually all outlined for you as well. So like I said, if you have a KPI meeting, this is a great tool to utilize. Especially if you're involved or manage maybe the customer service team or the compliance team, whomever in your organization that might be responding or handling these complaints. So with your summary statistics too, you have a couple options. So you can view by date open, by date close, you can put in your time range here, and it'll give you an overview, and it'll change the pie charts as you continue to manipulate the data. And then as you scroll down too, it kind of gets a little bit more granular in a text version as opposed to a pie chart in reference to the complaint type or the complaint resolution. I know several companies that we've worked with in getting them utilizing the response portal to its full potential has started utilizing this quarterly with their teams. So they're sitting down with their teams running the reports to try to reduce the number of complaints that they're receiving, but also focusing on what the complaint resolution means. So we understand no one wants to receive a complaint. However, also think of it as this is a way for us to improve our operations as an organization. So we've had companies that have had very low ratings due to their complaint volume, their complaint statuses. They weren't responding to complaints. They really didn't understand how that impacted their marketplace history. We were able to work with them one-on-one. We started by introducing the portal to them. And over time, they have actually improved their marketplace history. And a couple of them throughout time have turned from a company that would be ineligible to be accredited to a company that is now accredited. So keep that in mind. If you're a company and you just need some assistance on trying to analyze some of this data, what is deemed an advertising issue or a billing or collection issue, through BBB's coding, give us a call. We're happy to have a call set up, whatever that may look like, so that way you understand the data. And then last, if you're in here and maybe you can't find your recording after this is done, we also have some helpful videos that you can watch that are short and intuitive and just kind of highlight some of the things that we covered today in reference to the BBB portal. So that is the response portal. we've had great follow-up and feedback from a lot of the other companies that have been utilizing this. And something to also that I like to people to know is that we didn't come up with this ourselves as a BBB. We actually worked with several very large organizations such as eBay, Amazon, and Capital One, who, given the number of interactions they have in a given year, are higher complaint volume. So a lot of this design, the feel, the flow of this portal was provided with insights from companies that are utilizing this tool. So we have continuously made it better, made it more intuitive, and essentially made it easier, hopefully, for your team to navigate. And it's less time digging for the complaint or trying to figure out, when did the BBB send it to my email? All you need to do is log into your business login. And as an accredited business, this response portal is free for you to use as a benefit. So Jenny, I'm happy to answer any additional questions that may have come in.
So another question was, what is the best way to get BBB reviews?
As an accredited business, you do have the customer review solution tool. So this is an app that you can place on a tablet, a cell phone, as well as a desktop computer. So we know a lot of our companies are out in the field, right? So maybe they're in siding or roofing. Maybe they have a sales rep that's meeting with the customer for initial, kind of product and service interaction. And then maybe they come out as a follow-up just to ensure that the customer's happy. That's a great time to start capitalizing on trying to capture those reviews. What we have found in our research is that, especially for a positive review, you have to make it as easy as possible for these consumers to file it. So on average, just going to a platform, you have to click 6 times to submit a review. Well, if you're anything like me, if it comes to my email, then I have to log into my email and then log into another account. You're likely I'm going to be distracted by the time I get to where I need to go to leave a review. That's why this app is so important for you to utilize as an accredited business. You can type in the customer's name, phone number, hit send. It sends them a text message. It'll thank them for doing business with you. And then it has a link. They just click, takes them right to where they go to leave the review. And then once it comes in on our end, we send it to you as the business. So that way you have the opportunity to leave a business response.
Thank you. I do not see any other questions as of right now, but if you do have any, please go ahead and continue to put them in the chat or the Q&A portion, and we will get to them before the ending of the presentation today. Just real quick, just wanted to let you know about our business newsletter. This is delivered on a monthly basis, and with it, it will keep you up to date with industry insights. It will let you know about news and scam alerts, as well as our programming and events that we have throughout the year. We do have another webinar coming up here on December 4th, and that's our BBB accreditation benefits webinar. So if you would like, you can get signed up for that. You can also always visit our website, bbbinc.org, to see all the events and all this information as well too, and to get signed up for the newsletter. As I stated before too, we will send out a follow-up email. It'll have a link to the newsletter, a link to the webinar. It'll have Denise's presentation information for you as well too, and go from there. I guess one other question, Denise, as well is, well, one came through, is that if the review tool is used, is there still a 5-day waiting period?
There is. And like I said, the way to expedite that is to respond as the business. So that way we can get it posted faster for you.
And then the question I had for you, Denise, was if a company is not accredited, how can they use the BBB response portal?
So as a non-accredited business, you can subscribe to the portal. The pricing is 80% of what your dues would have been if you were accredited. And that really gives us the opportunity because not every company is eligible for accreditation. So we currently have some subscribers that unfortunately, due to their rating, they cannot be accredited. However, they can subscribe to the portal so that they can, more easily manage and respond to their complaints and customer reviews. And those were some of the success stories that I was sharing where we worked with those companies. We had one where they subscribed to the portal. They had high complaint volume, didn't respond to all the complaints, which was impacting their rating. And with time, they were able to get their grade to a more positive place where they were able to then go ahead and apply for accreditation. And I always say over time, because complaints, that especially high volume, they don't happen over the night and they're not going to get resolved overnight either. So that's something that it does take some time, similar to like a pattern of complaints. It doesn't occur overnight. It can't get cleaned up overnight. But as the BBB, I'm our VP of Ops, we're willing to work with you as a business. So please don't feel as if because you're not accredited that you can't reach out to us. We want to help you because it's a win for you as an organization and your marketplace history, and it's a win for consumers who may be having issues with the product or service.
Thank you. You can go to the next slide then. So again, on behalf of the Bureau, I wanted to thank everyone for coming to the webinar today. Hopefully it's giving you insight to the response portal and that you can start utilizing it within your organization. Also, if you have any ideas or topics that you would like to see the Bureau discuss and have a webinar on, or even come out to an organization to speak, please contact me. I would love to talk to you about those opportunities. And then lastly, we do have a survey as well that you can go ahead and scan the QR code now as well. This will be in the follow-up email. We would love your feedback on today's presentation. We're always striving to do better and be the best. So please let us know how this was for you today. And a special thank you to you, Denise. I know your schedule is very busy. So I greatly appreciate you coming on today and educating us all about the response portal and complaints and the reviews. So thank you so much. With that, yes, absolutely. So with that, we thank everyone. Have a wonderful afternoon, and we hope to see you again soon. Bye.